My name is Zugiswan Kingala. At IIE Rosebank College, we believe in celebrating stories of resilience and triumph that inspire our community. Today, we are honored to sit down with one of our colleagues, Letitia, a cancer survivor. Hi, Letitia, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you, Zuk?
Great, thank you. Can you tell us about your cancer journey, from diagnosis to recovery, and how it has shaped your perspective on life?
Sure. So my journey is a little bit of a complicated one. In 2018, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer as well as a very rare autoimmune disease known as neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder. So it's through that diagnosis that I proudly represent an international NGO known as the Sumaira Foundation as an international ambassador liaison. And I think how all of this really changed my perspective on life is that it's humbled me a lot. I was very young when I was diagnosed at first. I was only 20 years old, so I still had a lot about life to learn. This has definitely shaped my life in every which way and made me the person that I am today.
What gave you the strength and determination to keep going, even in the toughest moments?
So like I said, I was very young at the time, so all I really had was my family, specifically my grandparents. They supported me, whether it be looking after me physically, like cooking, cleaning, taking care of me physically, or even like in terms of emotional support. And that really kept me strong, even in like the weakest of moments.
Balancing health and work can be challenging. How have you navigated between the balance of your life and working for IIE Rosebank College?
So I think where things changed for me is I stopped looking at my diagnosis as something that was like a weakness. I started looking at it as something that was more of a strength. I was very open and honest about my condition from the beginning because people wanted to know, especially at like interview stage, what makes you stand out, what makes you different. And this is exactly what makes me different. Being someone who has a chronic illness that is affected by these symptoms day to day, and also a cancer survivor, it means that I have so much more to prove than like the average employee or the average person, because I have, in addition to just the day-to-day tasks, all of these other things and battles that I need to overcome in order to, perform as best as I can.
Right. Mm. What are some of the key life lessons you've gained through this that you'd like to share with others?
I think one of the most important ones was just to be grateful. So with my case, and given like the symptoms that I experienced, it really took away a lot of my most basic abilities. Right. My ability to speak properly, or write, or hold a spoon to eat, walk, and things like that. So it really humbled me and made me very grateful for the most basic of things. Even sometimes driving to work can seem a bit daunting, but at the end of the day, I have to really appreciate the fact that I'm able to drive. I have a job, so I think it's just being grateful for the smallest of things, but also understanding that whether it's God or like the universe or whatever it is that you believe in, there's always a reason and there's always a plan. And like God is good all the time, not just when you feel like you've been blessed, but there's always like a greater plan.
Great. Since overcoming cancer, have you made any significant changes to your daily routines, wellness approach, and just a general approach in life?
Yeah, definitely. So it's important to note that being a cancer survivor is very much something very difficult to actually come to terms with. It's different hearing doctors speak to you in that manner, or speak about you in that manner, to say, oh, this person's a cancer survivor, or whatever the case may be. But actually coming to terms with that and saying to yourself, okay, this is something that forms part of who I am and my history. It can be very difficult. So tied in with that, it did take me a while to obviously make these changes. I had to find stability in my illness first, before being able to actually set out a routine for myself. So it definitely did change the way that I eat. So now I eat a lot cleaner. I try to stay away from a lot of processed foods, processed meats and things like that. I stick to more fresh vegetables, healthier ingredients, your nuts, your seeds, healthier lunches, but also water is like my best friend, and a bit of exercise here and there, obviously within what I'm able to do, because I am disabled through my NMO diagnosis, but through what I am able to do, I try to walk a little bit, do some Pilates, and just respect my body, which has carried me through, the most unimaginable things. Yeah.
What advice or words would you share with someone who might be facing a similar health challenge?
So this is something that I've obviously had to learn the hard way. Stress is very important. It's very important to manage your stress because that has a direct influence on your body. So especially in dealing with whether it be cancer or other, like autoimmune diseases, it's important to manage stress. And one thing that I had to learn very earlier on is there's always going to be a test that I need to do. There's always going to be some sort of results or feedback from a doctor that I'm waiting for. And in the beginning, that would really stress me out because I would get nervous about the results. And actually, one day driving home from work, I was waiting for a test result, and I said to myself, I'm putting myself through the stress twice because I'm stressing out as if I've already received the results. Whereas if I just try and stay as calm as possible until that point, until I receive those results, I only have to go through it once, which would be, hearing the results and then guiding myself through it once I've heard what's going on. So I think it's important to just be patient with yourself, try and remain calm until you have all of the information, and then move forward and then process that information.
From your perspective, how can workplaces support cancer initiatives?
I think by acknowledging significant dates such as World Cancer Awareness Day, workplaces then create a safe space for employees to be able to take care of their mental and physical health, which is very important, especially in dealing with diseases such as cancer, or even, depression, where people are not comfortable speaking about it.
So what personal and professional goals are you aspiring to now, and what sort of experiences have shaped those goals?
So obviously there's a lot of things that come to mind in you asking me this question, but I think the most important one is that I've actually enrolled for another qualification, and I'm studying to become a practicing counseling psychologist because I'm actually very passionate about psychology. And how I got here is, I think, experiencing the things that I have, the life-changing things that I have at such a young age. Like I said, I was only 20 when I was diagnosed, really humbled me and made me very empathetic to what other people might be going through, which is what, I'm very excited about that journey.
And lastly, what are some of the symptoms that you can look out for cancer?
So it's a difficult question to answer because every type of cancer comes with its own symptoms. Every type of illness comes with its own symptoms. Every person is different, so they're going to feel differently or present with symptoms differently. I think what's very important is to just not ignore signs from your body. Your body is going to speak to you in different ways, whether it's that you have a constant headache or that you're constantly tired or in pain. Listen to what your body's trying to tell you. Go to a registered, healthcare practitioner, whether it be like your GP or the hospital, and try and explain your symptoms in as much detail as possible, because the more that they know, the more that they can help you to narrow down what exactly is going on.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you learned something. Remember, your health is your wealth.